Cool. So welcome to class, guys. I see Bendu on here. Bendu, welcome. I see Daniel, Denzi, welcome. I see Amara. Amara, welcome.
Thanks.
We're gonna, without no delay, we're gonna resume class tonight, and then hopefully the rest of the folks can join us later on. Okay, Bendu, no problem. Saw your message. So if you have not turned on your machine yet, just go ahead and do that. Um, so I did have some technical difficulties with the recording from last week, and that was last Saturday. For some reason, the account that I saved the video on was my school cloud account, and then because I graduated, so that account has been deactivated, so that the source of the video was not valid. So because of that, I was not able to share the video. So I will be reviewing what we went over last week. Hopefully we'll be done with it and then we can jump into this week's lecture. But if not, we can just spend the rest of the time. So that should be like a plus for you um, to review what we went through last week, last Saturday to be precise. And we can go from there. Okay. So with that being said, let me share my screen here. My computer is frozen. Not again today. All right, there we go. Give me 1 second, folks. All right. So we will be going over um file and directory permission. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah, Cuddy.
You see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we'll be reviewing files and directory permission. Like I said, this is gonna be a review of last week because that video was lost, and then we need those videos to upload on the school website. So I was not able to retrieve that video, so we have to go over what we did last week. I apologize for any inconvenience, but that's what we have to do today. So if your machine is already on, um, you can just log into your machine using your mobile extern. Um, by the end of this week, I'm going to introduce a new application called PuTTY. So with PuTTY, it's a little um how do I say it? It's a little different when it comes to connecting to your remote server using PuTTY. The only difference is that the PAM has to be a PKK instead of PEM. I think that's the only difference. So we can go into that tomorrow, just so you know how to use mobile extern and PuTTY because these are the most common applications that we use on the job to remote access our our virtual machines. So and then down the line, you also will be introduced to VS Code, which is Visual Studio Code. Um, but that will be further down during the class, okay? But for now, we're gonna do mobile extern, and I will introduce PuTTY this week. So if you don't have PuTTY, I will put a link in the class chat later on today or tomorrow, so you can download it to your PC. All right. All right. So if you're in your machine already, just cd to your home directory, pwd and /home. So if you're in your machine already, just cd to your home directory because this is the directory we used last week when we created this directory called my first directory. So cd home ll and you should see your first directory in there. Okay. I will give you like 60 seconds to do that. If you need any help, don't hesitate to ask, guys. Don't hesitate. Those of you that just came, welcome. I see Teddy, I see Lincoln, I see Kelvin. Welcome to class.
Thank you, Chris. And the president are in agreement.
Yeah, if you're not talking to us, just go on mute, or I can mute everybody from here. Let me see. Okay, that's good. All right, so guys, connect your machine. I'm already in mine. If you are in your machine already, just type yes in the chat. My machine fell asleep. Text yes in the chat. I want to see the yeses coming in. Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Ahmed already put the link for PuTTY in here in the chat. All right, Amara is in. Um, Leighton is in already. Let me see the yeses, guy. Connect to your machine using a mobile extern. The link for PuTTY download is in the chat already. You can just click on that link and download it in your computer. Tap your yeses, guys. Tap your yeses. Got 10 seconds. If you need help, let me know so we can all be on the same page. All right, so let's move on. Kevin is in already. So last week we talked about files and directory. And just a quick review, right? In Linux, files is file. File is the same as the way you have it on on your Windows computer, right? But when it comes to directory, directory is the same as you have folders, right? Same as you have folders in your on your Windows computer. We have directories in our Linux machine. Some people still call it folders, but the right and professional way and technical way to call it on a Linux system is a directory. Okay, so files live inside of directory, but we do not have directories living inside of files. Okay, we can have directory inside of directory, but we cannot have directory inside of a file. All right, so permission denied. We talked about this last week. What do we get permission denied? You get permission denied because you do not have the permission or the right permission or the right privilege to be able to access certain directories or certain files. All right. And these are the topic we're going to be covering today. How to access files and directory, how to give permission to files and directory, modify permission, change ownership, and special permissions. Okay. All right. So if you haven't already done that, what I need you to do is let me come over here to make sure you guys are seeing what I'm doing. All right. What I need you to do is switch to your root user. All right. Just run an SU command and switch to root user if you haven't already done that. Okay. All right. So before we do this, before we switch to our root user, let's back up a little bit. All right. Let's back up a little bit. So exit, if you went to your root user, exit your root user and go back to your regular user. Just type the word exit. Yeah, I think somebody said Control D the last time. You can do that as well. All right. Now let's run this command. Etc. Okay, it's cat etc shadow. Cat etc shadow. What do we see here? We got permission denied. Why do we have permission denied by running this command? Can anybody volunteer to tell me that? Why do we get permission to deny trying to run this etc shadow command? Any
Yeah,
volunteer?
yep, I can do that. Can I?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, if we look exactly at the command that we're running, this command is it's like, let's say, when I want to look at it like that, it's owned by, let's say, root. Only root has the permissions to run that command. A regular user can run that command, so they don't have the permissions to run that command because it's a
Okay,
regular user, not a root user.
perfect, perfect. So we got denied because we do not have the right permission. All right. Don't forget this etc directory. The etc directory is the configuration directory for the system. All the configuration files live inside of this directory. So think about it, right? So you have your house. Somebody used a house illustration last week and I love it. So I'm going to stick with that. So you have your house, right? And then in the house, you have a safe where you keep all the keys and all your valuables in the house. You think it's everybody in the house that will have access to that safe? No,
Yeah.
not everybody. Or guests come in our house, they cannot have access to that safe. Most likely, it's only you and your wife will have the code to be able to access that key, that safe, rather. So, same here, exit directory. In this directory, like I said earlier, all the system configuration files live inside of here. The properties of this machine, the particular Ubuntu machine we're running right now, any kind of functionality we want to disable or enable live in this directory. So it is a security risk to have anybody, regular user, guest user, to have access to this directory. This is why, let's see who am I, okay? Let's run who am I command. What does it say here? We are just Ubuntu user. We are nobody. We don't have access to this kind of directory. So now let's fast forward a little bit now. Let's run our sudo space -i command. All right. If we run pwd, pwd stands for present working directory. You run that command to be able to know where exactly you are on the system. Now we are in root. So now we have root privilege. Okay. Let's recall that command we ran earlier on, the cat etc command. Where's the bad boy? I think it's too far away. So I'm just gonna retype it, okay? Cat etc, if I can spell right, shadow, right? What do we have here? Bam! We have access to this file. We now have access to this file. And this file, the shadow file, contains all the passwords that were created, the password for each user on the system. And don't forget, some of these users here, you see root here, is the password for root right here, but in an encrypted version. There are some system users on here that we did not create, but they come with the system like that. Like you see the daemon, you see the Bane, you see the sys, the system CTL, and different users are already created on here by the system. Most of the users you see here were real names and ones that we created ourselves. Like we have Ubuntu user, we have Chris we created last week, we have John we created last week. So these are all the passwords for all the users on this system. Now, I think now you understand why I said that we could not access the directory when we were a regular user because it has sensitive information in here. Okay? Permission denied. Permission to files, permission to directory. Okay? So let's back up a little bit. Let's back up here. Let me use this string for my, all right. All right. So the next thing we're gonna do, here is we're gonna create a user, right? We can create another user just for the sake of the argument, okay? We create another user and the command to create a user. What is that command? Anybody remember from last week? The command to create a user?
Yeah,
Yeah, please go ahead.
user add.
User add, user add, user add, and then the name of the user, right?
Yeah,
So we're gonna give this guy, the guy name will be Tony. User add Tony. All right. Now,
mhm.
if we want to see if Tony was created, how do we see if that user was created? Do anybody remember that from last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Firstly, I mean, you ID, that's the standard ID, and then you want a shadow password to see if it was created too.
Yes. So that's two ways to see if the user was created. You
Yeah,
can say ID, Tony,
that's if.
IF, ID, Tony. All right. So Tony has his user ID to be 1003. And Tony is assigned to a group. The group ID is 1003. And then his regular, like others, is also 1003. Further down the line, when we do user management, we're going to learn how to assign IDs to each of these users and how to assign groups to each of the users. Okay, but we don't want to jump the gun, so let's just take it one step at a time. Another way you could see if the user was created to was to run this command we ran earlier on. And guys, don't forget, if you want to recall a command that you ran earlier on, just use the up arrow key. You can see all the command I ran before, everything is right here. Okay, use the up arrow key, enter. What do we have down here? Tony is created. All right. Now the
Mhm.
system automatically created a password for Tony, but we want to assign our own password to Tony. We don't want a regular or system created password because we don't even know it in the first place. Okay. So to create a password for a user, the command, I need somebody to try to give me that command aside from Amara. What is the command to add a password to a user?
You have to respect your grandfather. Yeah, Lincoln. Yes. Are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, Lincoln.
Lincoln. Yeah, so that command will be uh pass like PASSWD and then you put the username.
Perfect, Lincoln. PSSSWD, and then we say Tony. Enter. All right, Lincoln, go on mute now. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your contribution. So PSSS, the username, which is Tony, and then we're going to assign a password to Lincoln, sorry, not Lincoln, but to Tony. We can create another user called Lincoln. See Lincoln in my mouth. What password do we want to give Tony? Let's keep it very basic, right? We can use school1. Enter. One more time, school1. Enter. Password updated successfully. So anytime Lincoln, sorry, Lincoln, Tony want to log into an account, we're going to give him that password. Hey, Tony, we created a password for you. The password is school1. Okay? That's how you create a password for a user. Now, let's see if anything changed down here. You see what happened? Before, the password for Tony encryption version was just like this. But since we add our own password, now the school1 we just wrote this encrypted version of that password. Okay? Let's move on. And we already did SC shadow, permission denied, SU root. So now let's go to files and directory. How do we access them? Come back to my PowerPoint here a little bit. To show the content of your directory, the content of your directory, there's two commands you can use, ll or ls or ls-l. Now, let's see the difference between these commands, okay? Let's see the difference between them. And let me know if you see my string, guys, as I'm navigating between them, okay? Let me know if you're seeing them. Now, I'm
Yeah.
running ll command here. This is the output. Now, where am I? Where am I running this command from? I'm in my root directory. Let's say ls and see what we got. ls only show us snap. What about ll dot? Are we seeing? So ll dot ls will show the same output as ll dash ls or dash ll. ls, if you run ls just by itself, it should only snap. So they both will show you content, but they will show you content in a different, view. Now, the difference between ll, even though they give the same information, right? Give the same information, but there's a difference if you actually look at it. If you look at the output for just ll here, right? And you look at the output for ll space dash ls. Can anybody tell me the difference? There's a slight difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Amara.
Well, the difference is if you look carefully at the beginning of the directory of files, you see for the first LL, it does not list any numbers. I don't know what that number means, but the LL-LS give you certain numbers going from ranging from 8 to 48, just like that. I think that's the difference.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, can anybody add all these numbers and tell me what you got? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 times 8 is what?
32,
32. 32 plus 8. This 8 right here is how much?
40.
40. Okay. Those, if you look at the output here for LL-LS, what does it say here for the total?
Total is 40.
40.
40. So does that ring a bell to you?
Yeah, but still need a little bit explanation as to why it was listed there.
Okay. So this This is the total size of the entire directory we're in right now. Now, these numbers here, these numbers that we just calculated, everything added up to 40, right?
Mhm.
So each of these numbers that is attached to these files and directory signifies the size.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Signify the size. That's it. That's all it is.
Okay.
Another command we can we can explore. Let me see what I have here. Make this a little big. All right. That was not added, but let's just stick to the slide. Just stick to the slide. Because there's more like a review. I don't want to go too much in depth. So all right, so we got files and directory access. We take the following line, for example, information on the file number 2. And then you see here, what are the various elements displayed and what do they represent? We went over that last week, right? If we
Mhm.
come back here, if we come back here, let's go into our directory. Please CD to your home directory. Let's go to our directory we created last week. Clear my screen. LL. My first directory is in there, right? So I'll CD into my first directory, enter, and I have all my files in here. We play a lot with this here last week, right? We play a lot with this. Play a lot with this. We add a sticky bead. We add a lot of stuff in these files. All right. Now, we spend a lot of time on this permission that are attached to these various files in here. We created these files ourselves last week. We have file 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 backup. We have new file. We just created a lot of files last week. We also went over what does these numbers mean? Every time you enter a Linux system directory, you're going to see these letters attached to every file or directory. What do they mean? Now, these numbers or these letters represent something. So let's go and find out what does those things mean. Okay. Now, first of all, this this line is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same thing here. This is section 1. This one alone is another section. Root is another section. Root is another section. 0 is another section. The date is another section. And then the name of the file is another section. Chris, what are you talking about here? Let's come back to our terminal. Okay. So let's look at file number 1, for instance, right? File number 1 is a little clouded. So let's use file number 4 backup. Okay. This one is a little decluttered. The first section here is our permission, right? The second section here is the size. Then the third section here, you can tell me what the third section stands for. So we had the permission, we had the size, and then the third section, what does it stand for?
Owner.
Owner, perfect. And then this one stands for
Group.
the group, yes. And then we have the size. I'll go back here so I don't misquote myself. Yeah, that stands for the number of links and then the size. So there was what? Number of links and then what? The size of this file. And then this one has to do with the date and time, and then followed by what? The name of the
Funny.
file. It's important. Why is it important to understand these things? It's important because when it's time for you to change a permission to a file system, you know exactly what you're doing and you know exactly what needs to be changed. There will be time you're going to have to change the owner and the group for a particular directory or particular file. If you don't know, you don't understand these lines, it's going to be difficult for you to do that. Okay? That's the significance of going over this stuff. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on this section because it's very important. It affects what this file is able to do. All right? So let's go back. All right? This is exactly what I was just explaining to you. Now, this section right here. So we went over this again last week. If you look at this directory, you're seeing W, you're seeing first of all, you're seeing a D, and then you're seeing what on the other one, you're seeing what arrow, you're seeing the W, you're seeing the X, you're seeing the arrow. What do all these things mean? Can somebody tell me why did this one start with a D and this one does not have a D? Can somebody tell me that? Just remind us.
Can I?
No, I'm all right. Let somebody else try. Can somebody tell me why we have a D on this and we don't have a D on this one?
I should
I think
try.
I should increase my font size a little bit. Yes, please.
This is Kona. I should try. I'll wait for someone else to do that.
No, Connor, you can give it a shot. You don't tell you.
There's a directory.
Exactly. Every time you see there's two ways to identify directories, right? One is by looking at the beginning, the first letter in that directory permission. And then two, you look at the color of the directory. Each time it's blue, you know that that's a directory. When it's plain white, it's a file.
So far.
Okay? There's two ways to identify directories. All right. So now we're seeing arrow here, we're seeing W, we're seeing X. What do these letters mean? Let's go back here. Arrow. So there's two ways to assign permission to a file or a directory in Linux. If there's a third way, I don't know, but I know of two ways. All right. You use the letter system. The Linux system automatically assigns letters to the permission. But as an engineer, you can choose to use the number system. If you use the number system to change the directory or to change the permission of the directory or the file, the system is automatically going to reset it to what? The letter system. So you can go either way. But what is more important to remember that arrow stands for the number 4. Okay? And that arrow and 4 stand for what? Read. Whenever you see arrow, you know that's a read. That means that owner or the group have a read permission to that file. If you see a W, that W means what? Write. And write is assigned to the number what? 2. So every time you see a W attached to a file or the directory, that means the owner or the group or others do have a write permission. Same as X. X stands for what? Execute. And execute is assigned with the letter or number 1. So every time you see an X, you know that the owner or the group or others have for execution permission to that file. Let's come back here. Let's go back to our terminal. Let me add one more font size to this, just so it's clear to everybody. Perfect. All right. So on file 4 backup, this file 4 backup, we have this first section here is our what? Owner. This one right here is our group, and this one right here is orders. Orders. So each column within this permission column has 3 what? 3 subcolumns that you can assign a permission to. Now, Chris, what do you mean? All right. file number 1 here has a full permission. So let's review what I'm saying. For this file, the first arrow WX, which is read, write, and execute, the owner of this file has for what? Read, write, and execute. That's one column, right? The second one, which is going to be what? The group. They also have read, write, and execute. And then others also have what? Read, write, and execute. Now, is it a safe thing to do on a Linux system? No, we just did it because of what? Practice purposes, right? Learning purposes. But it's going to be very hard to see a file in a production environment that have a full permission for all 3 groups, which is the owner, the group, and others. It's going to be difficult to see that. The most people you will see will have full permission is the owner. You're going to have the WRX. In very rare quick cases, you will see group, but I have not seen others with a full permission. In all my years of experience, I have not seen that. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible, but it's very rare to see that. Okay, so looking at the number system we just reviewed, let's go back here. We have arrow to be equal to 4. We have W to be equal to 2. And we have X to be equal to 1. Take note of those numbers and the letters. Let's come back here to our terminal. Now, if I want to assign a number system to my group here, hey man, I just want this one right here. Perfect. So the owner of the file, I have a WRX, which is a full permission based on the letter system. But if I want to assign a number to this particular owner, that number would be W or arrow WX, which is the same as WRX, whatever, however way you want to arrange it, right? So in another sense, would it make sense if I assign that owner just number 7? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Chris, why does it make sense? Because we have arrow WX for the owner, and arrow is 4, W is 2, X is 1. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1, 7. So it makes a lot of sense if I come here and say, okay, the owner for file 1, I'm giving you a 7. The owner for file 1, the group for file 1 are giving it also a 7. And the others for file number 1, I'm also giving it a 7. So the permission for this file number 1 is actually, if you want to change that, it's going to be through mode plus, do we need to add plus to it? I think yes, plus 777. I don't think there was a plus, but let's see. Okay. 777 will be the permission number.
I don't think
Now
there was a
we also have user, we have the owner, we have the group and others. That's the same thing I was just talking about, but just in alphabetical order or form. Okay. So let's move here. I'm going through these because these are things I already talked about. All right. Just going through them. Perfect. Arrow is 4, W2, X is 1. To assign using letters, okay, we can use U plus WRX file 2. I mean, you're giving the user this particular permission. That's using the number 16. You're giving the user execution here on file number 2. And you're giving the group a write permission on file number 2. Okay. Okay, there was no plus sign. That's how I was trying to find. So there's no plus sign. You only use the plus sign when you are just changing, say, just for a file to be executable, in the instance for a script, right? If you want to add a permission, execution permission to a script, you have to add a plus sign because you assign it to the entire file. Okay? So in this case, to mode, and then we're going to say the name of the file, right? Name of the file. We already did this, so I'm not going to execute this command. But I'm just showing you, if you wanted to give a full permission to this file, this is how you're going to do it. Now, we have a file here that does not have much permission to it. Can somebody tell me, we want to assign full permission to the owner of new file, full permission to the owner, and we want to give read and write to the group, and we want to give execution to the others. How do we do that, guys? Put on your machine and type it in there. I want to see. How will we do that? Let me know how we're going to do that.
Just say it, or you should just type it from here.
Type it in the chat.
Which file we looking at? File 3 or 4?
We're using this file. You can just create a file. Okay, first of all, let's create a file on our own, okay? Everybody, how do we create a file? Create a file by using the command touch. My spelling are off today, guys. I've been working since this morning, so forgive me. My brain is tired. All right, we use the command called touch to create a file, okay? So we're gonna call this file, I don't want to use example again. Let me use, what do I use? Okay, let's say class, okay? Touch class. Let me clear my screen and LL. We have class here. Class is 0 because there's nothing in it. And class had this permission. I want this permission to change. I want the owner to have full permission. I want the group to have read and write. And I want the others to have write and execute. Can anybody tell me how we're going to do that?
Yeah, if I can comment.
Yeah, Amara, you can type it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, please type it in the chat how we're going to do it. All right, I see 2.
Sorry. With the
No, later, I did not tell you to change the owner of class. I said you should change the permission. I need a full permission on the owner. I need a read and write on the group, and I need read and execute on the others.
oh, read and execute. Read, oh crap. Read and execute.
I can show you the numbers, the value of the numbers if you need it. All right, the value of the number system. What's the spread I want? Right here. All right, I'll give it 30 seconds more and then we can go into it, guys. Kona, are you on here? Are you giving this a shot? Lincoln,
I'm here.
Kelvin, you put your chat in the, you put your answers in the chat now. I need a full permission on the owner.
Uh-huh.
I need read and write on the group,
Mhm.
and you read and execute. Okay.
The last one you said what read and execute?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I see that. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to resend the entire thing because I was sending it one at a time, so I just want to put everything together and just send it one.
Fine.
Okay.
So that's fine.
Hmm. Okay, let's go into it. Let me see what we have in here in the chat. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that, Brian. Am I right? I see that. Good job, guys. You're getting the idea. The major thing I want you to get out of this thing is the concept. Okay, once you grab the concept, you're good. All right. So let's do that. I want to change the permission to for this file name called class, right? Take note of the permission we got here. Right now, the owner have read and write. Group has write. Others have read. Well, sorry, not write. Read and read for group and others. But I want it to be changed. CHMOD, right? I'm using the number system. You can use the letter system, that's fine, but I prefer the number system. Um, we want a full permission for the owner, so that would be a 7. Don't forget now, read, write, and execute. That's a 4, 2, and 1. So you add the numbers together, that's a 7. Now, for the group, I said I wonder why read and write only. So read is 4, write is what? 2.
2,
So 4 plus 2 would be what? 6.
6.
And then for the others, I said I wonder what? Read and execute. Read is what? 4,
4.
right? Execute is 1.
This is
4
5.
plus 1 is what? 5, right? And then the name of the file, class. Enter. Now let's see the difference. Look at the difference up here. All right. And see the new permission. You see that? The color change right away. Color change right away. And you look at the layout here for the permission, right? It's quite different from what we have here. Just to reiterate, for the owner, we have read, write, execute. For the group, we have read and write. And then for the others, we have read and execute. Okay? That's the concept. So thanks for those that were able to um put theirs in there. Good job. Good job. Keep it up. Keep it up. All right, guys. So let's move on here. Let's move on. This should be like a revision for most of you that was here last week. Um, So exactly what we were saying before, right? Um, our x, our wx, 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7. Our x is 5 and 5. All right, move on. Using the number system, this is what we just did. This is what we just did. Method 2, using number system. Arrow wx is 7. Read and write is 6. Read and execute is 5. Just read will be 4. Read, what's a write and execute is a 3. Just write will be a 2. Execute is 1. And then this dot dot mean what? 0. That means there's no permission added there. If you go back here and look at one of our files here, let me just LL, right? If you look at this, which file do I use? Backup number 4, right? File 4 backup. If you see here, you see this dot dot, it means there's no permission assigned there. Okay, that's what it means. It's exactly what it's saying in here. No permission is assigned over there. 777 is a full permission. 000 is no permission. All right. All right, so let's remove the execution permission on directory class to the others and blah, blah, blah. Let's move through this. All right, so now we're going to talk about changing group and changing owner. All right, change own, username, and file name. Change own, username, and file name. That's how you change the owner of a group. Now, what are we saying here, Chris? Let's put it into practice, right? Who is the owner for this file we just created? This class we just created. Who is the owner of that file? Root. Root is the owner. The group is also owned by group or root. Now, if we want to change this owner root to John, how do we do that? It's exactly what this PowerPoint is telling us here. Change own, username, and then the file name. That's how you do it. Don't confuse how they call it um Shin-Un and Chumod. We only had to speak Chinese in this class today. Chung-Un and Chumod, those are different commands. Chumod, you are changing the mode of the permission. Chung-Un, you're changing what? The owner of the what? Of the file. Permission and file. So we want to change the owner for class. Let's say to John, right? We've created John before, so we want to assign that to this for John to own this particular file called class. The command will be John. Then we're going to say John, HN, and then we say class. Better still, we can also do this since we want to keep root to be the group. We can do this and put root and class. For the sake of the argument, I'll go with the first option. To own John and class. You're assigning John to be the owner for that document called class. LL. Now, what do we see here? Before it was root up here. Now, it's changed to what? John. Can anybody tell me how will you change the owner of a file using a Windows computer? How will you do that? Any Windows person here?
You go to
Can
the
try.
file,
Got it?
you go to the file, double click and change the name from there.
You go to the file, double click and change.
Or right click and take rename.
Right? Yeah. But
No,
normally
no,
we
it's not just the name of the file. We're talking about the owner of the file. So let put that into practice here, okay? My business continuity plan right here. So if I click on here, right click, that is not going to change the name, the owner of the file. How do we change the owner of a file on Windows system, guys? You gotta make me shame here.
don't worry, we'll come in there.
How do we change the owner on a Windows system? Well, the point I'm trying to make, I mean, we're not in a Windows class yet, but the point I'm trying to make is how efficient and effective Linux is, right? Windows system, you kind of click and do this, do that, do this.
You wanna
But when it comes to Linux, what are we doing here? We just run a simple command and boom, that will not change. Windows system, I know some of you on ChatGPT and Google now trying to find the answer, but that's how complicated it can be sometimes. Let me see. Okay. Somebody say take F, C path to file text using command prompt. Okay. Okay. So it's complicated using on Windows. Linux, you run a to own command, the name you want to assign to that file, the file name, and you're done. Simple as that. Now, can somebody tell me, because we went over this last week, if I want to change this file Uno to John, Uno to John, and the group to be also for John, how do I do that? First of all, let me change it back to where it was before. Let me reassign it back to root. Okay. Okay, now it's root. Now I want us to change it for the file to be owned by John, and the group should also be John. Can somebody tell me how we're going to do that? Any volunteer? Perfect, perfect.
John.
Yes. John, and then what next? The name of the file. Don't
Name of
forget
the
that.
file.
Yeah, I got it in the chat.
Yeah, I seen that link. Good link on man here, let him know something. All right. To own John, colon. Oh, let me put a John there before I put a colon. JOHN, colon, JOHN. Right? And then what?
Class. File.
And then what class, right? The name of the file. We enter. So when we look here now, we have this file name class has been what? Assigned owner to be John and the group to be John. We getting it? Let's do
Yes.
something real quick. Let's do something real quick. Give me a second here. Be practicing that command in the meantime while I try to pull something up real quick, okay? All right. What I want us to do is that I want us to grab um the concept of giving permissions. Okay? The concept of giving permission. Why is it important? Why is it important? Now, let's try to do a little bit of let's write a simple bash script, okay? Let's write a simple bash script. To create a script, we're gonna say vim, um, let's say inventory dot inventory dot sh. Let's do that. Go to insert mode, and I want you to copy this, okay? We can do this together. Shebang, then bash. All right. Are we following?
Yep.
Okay. Somebody got a hand up. Lipton, what you say?
Didn't see that comment.
Huh?
Comment read just didn't see.
Let me see. Let me come back to my Zoom here. It's right up here, Linton. You should be able to see it. Did you guys see the bin bash I just wrote? Did you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay, I can write it again. I can do it again. This is called shebang. When you're doing a bash script, that shebang right there. What shebang is telling the computer that this is a bash script. I want you to run the commands I have in the script. Okay? So to create a script, let's say author, we gotta make it professional. Let's say author, please do this. Can't even spell my name right. Okay? Purpose, um, learning, date. We have June 20th, 2025. Okay. Now, if you're writing a script, every time you put this asterisk sign, that means you are telling the computer, do not read this line as a command, just ignore it. So if you put in a comment in a script, this is how you do it. So when you run the script, the system is not going to read this. So we just skip it and go to the command that you ran, that you put in there. Okay? So now, what do we want to see here? We said cat, now we're running command line, right? Etsy, wildcat, release. We say why, and proc. We say why, ls, be okay. Okay. And then what else? I sent you guys a list of Linux command the last time. Do anybody have that handy? Anybody have that handy? Anybody? All right. Let me see. I think I found it here. We had who am I? You name, and so forth and so on. Okay. So in order for us to do this, let me send a script to you guys in the chat that we can use, okay? Let me copy the script. I already have this. So let me paste it in the group chat and then you can grab it from there and we all can run it. All right. Come right here. Paste that in there. Enter. Please grab that script from the chat. Just highlight the whole thing, copy it, and paste it in your document you're creating. If you're done, let me know so we can move forward. I want to keep it very simple, but I already have this, so let's just go with it. I want to show you the importance of permission when it comes to executing certain files, certain script and stuff like that. That's why I'm doing this. So grab this. When you're done, type in the chat, done. Are we there? Or you're sleeping on me? Okay, let's move on. I don't think to copy um just this script and put it in your document should take this long. Okay. Okay. Somebody asked a question. All right. Somebody asked a question. So the person want to know why is script important to assisting army? The script we're writing here, this script has the potential, not the potential, but the ability to pull or inventory for a whole Linux machine. Now, why is this important? If you're working as a assisting admin and you are given a task to create an inventory of machines that they're trying to read while decommission, you're not going to go through all of those machines one by one to get the information of the inventory of those machines. They want to know how many CPU, they want to know um the block for the partition, they want to know just basic information. What system is on it, all those kinds of stuff. You're not going to go through those machines one by one and run commands on it. What do? You write a script. As a Linux system admin, you have to know how to write at least a basic bash script. Okay? You have to know how to write a basic bash script for instances like this. It may not even be just inventory. Sometimes they may ask you, okay, we need to know the OS version of this X amount of machine in production. You're not going to log into this machine one by one to get the OS version of them. You can write a simple bash script just like this, run that script on a master computer that can connect to all those computers and will put all that information in that script. Okay? That's the purpose of this. And the other reason why I'm doing this is to let the student know that when you write a script, that script needs certain permission for it to execute. If you do not have that permission on that script, it's not going to run. That's another purpose of this. So let's save this, okay? Let's save this. And then we look in here. We have our inventory.sh. Now this script is owned by root, group is root. Do we all have this on our system already? Yes or no?
No, I was in class just last week. I had a funeral to attend.
No, we're just doing this. We didn't do it last week.
No.
So are you following the class right now, what we're doing?
Yeah, I'm fine in the class.
Okay, so that means you did not write a script. That's okay. If you didn't write it, that's fine. But it's in the chat. You can grab it anytime you want, and you can practice this on your own, okay? Okay. So to run the script, we have what? We type period and forward slash, and then the name of the script. Inventory.sh. There's a bash script. If there was a Python script, it would end with a PY. But there's a bash script, so it ends with what? SH. Right? If we run this script, guys, what do we see here?
Permission denied.
Permission denied. So that answers the question for whoever that asked that question. We're dealing with permission to files and what? Directories. It is very important to understand these things because no matter your job title tomorrow, you're going to have to execute some kind of script or you're going to have to write some kind of script. If you do not have the right permission to this script, it is not going to run. You're always going to get permission denied. Now, how do we add permission to this? What kind of permission does this script needs for it to run? Who can tell me?
Full permission to order
What
file.
permission does this script needs for it to run?
Full permissions.
Full permission. Okay. That's not wrong, but that's not totally what I'm looking for. Somebody said executable permission. Executable permission. So we need execute, right? We need execute. So we're going to say change mode, chmod plus x. Do you remember the number we assigned to x?
1.
1. So we could use the number system too. But in the instance, let's just use x, okay? Inventory.sh, enter. Now, look at the name of this script, how it look like, right? Now I will run this command and see how it's going to look like. See here? Does this color of this script tells you anything about these 3 files, file 1, 2, 3, and 3? Is there any similarities with them?
Yes. A.
They are green because why? They have what? Full execution. That's why. So now, let's try to recall the command we ran before and we'll go at permission denied. This one right here. Enter. What do we have here? The script executed. This is full, this is not the full inventory, but based on the commands we put in the script, this is the output of the commands. Collecting system inventory, CPU info. Why? The thing I want, CPU on it, nproc, that's a command ran. That's a command to check CPU, right? We want to know the setup block of the disk partition. You see here, block devices. There's a command for it, lsblk. There's the output. There's a full architecture of the whole on disk partition on this machine. Now, if you have 2,000 machines to get this information, do you think you're going to log into this machine one by one to get this information? The answer is no. What do you do as a system admin? You write a simple script that we just did, and just in 1 second, 2 seconds, you can get all the information. Now, there's another way too. You can send this information to an output file. Instead of it displaying on the screen like this, you can send it to an output file, and that output file is going to have all the, well, this script actually has it. You see here, inventory complete, output save to system inventory at this IP address text. Now, where is that output file? Did it save it right in the same directory? Yes, it's right here. If we want to see the content of this text file, guys, what is the command to run to see the content of this text file?
Cat,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm all right.
cat, and the name of the file you want to see the content.
Yeah, perfect. Cat. So now we wrote our script. The script executed. We got this output. So if your manager told you, okay, I need a full inventory of the 2,000 servers we have in production, you're not gonna go log into the server one by one and run command, guys. This is how you're gonna do it. You write the script, run the script, and that script will send all the information to this text file. Now, this is the file you're gonna send to your manager with the information. So you see how important these things are? If we enter here, the same information that was displayed before, that's what we have here. So guys, this is just a climax or to re-emphasize the importance of knowing permission, what permission can do. If you don't have the right permission, there are certain system files you won't be able to access. There are certain commands you won't be able to run. I cannot overemphasize this enough. All right, so I hope I was able to answer your question, whoever that asked the question from the administrative side of things. So let's move on here. Let's move on. Still got a little bit to cover. All right. Yeah, we went over this. So now I'm a little bit ahead of the slides. So when I'm going through them, don't think I'm just ignoring it, okay? But again, you all have access to these PowerPoint slides. You can just log into the site, go and access them, and get more information on them. Better still, you can make research on your own to get more elaborate information on these, right? So set user ID, set group ID, and sticky bit. Let's go into that. Let's go into that. User ID. Let me use my other screen here, guys, so I can't be going too much. Are we learning something here?
Yeah.
Okay. I only one person learning something today, so that's okay. All right. So user ID. Set. You remember when we created a user? What was it? New user who created Tony, right? When we created Tony today, I told you that Tony had an automatic user and group assigned to him because we did not assign any of them to him. So let's add the Tony and look at it again. I want to make sure you guys are following what I'm doing here. When we add the Tony user ID is 103. A group ID is 1003, sorry. And in others group ID is 1003. That because when we created Tony, we did not assign a group ID or a user ID to him. So the next thing we're going to do here now is we're going to learn how to assign group ID and user ID to the group that we created. Are we following?
Yes.
Yes, we are following.
Okay. All right. Let me look. Let me just give me 1 second here, okay? User ID. All right. So let's do this. I want to do this in a way that is not too confusing. It's a little confusing. Yeah. All right. Let me start over. Now, when the SUID is set on a file, anybody on the system can execute that file like the owner. Okay. So this is not what I thought it was. It's actually an SUID. Um, Simply put, if the file owned by the root, when somebody else tries to execute the file, the system will consider that it is the user root that is executing it. The letter corresponding to the SUID is S, and the number is 4. To set the SUID on the file, we use chmod u plus S file name or chmod current permission plus the file name. All right, so I was confusing it with user ID, but actually it's not a user ID. We'll do user ID later on, okay? So the SUID, when you assign it according to this, right, on the system, anybody on that system can execute that file like the owner of the file. Well, I don't think this is a safe, and let me know if I'm wrong. I don't think it's a safe practice to put in production, but for the sake of learning, for learning purposes, just so you know about it, we can do that. But if you put an SUID on a file and anybody can execute that file like a root user, that is not a good thing. Usually not a good thing. But for the sake of this training, you have to know how to do it so that tomorrow when you are asked to do it, you'll be able to do it. Okay? So let's move on here. Let's go to our terminal. Put on your terminal if you have it closed. If you have it open, that's great. So let's use example for one file we have in here. So maybe this script that we wrote, right? We want to assign a SUID to it so that anybody will be able to execute the script, whether they're a regular user or not. How do we do that? Now, the S user ID is represented by the letter S. And to execute that, we say change mode. Again, we're changing the mode of the permission. Every time you see change mode while you're changing the permission or the mode of the permission for that particular file or directory. So we want to change, we want to add an SUID to inventory.sh so that anybody on the system can execute this file without being a root. How do we do that? Again, chmod, and then we say u, which is what? User, and then minus x, f as in Sam. We say inventory.sh. Enter. Now let's look at the permission and see what we see here. Inventory.sh. Did anything change on it? Anybody?
You want to repeat that again, sir?
Did anything change on the permission for user for inventory.sh?
So we have rewrite execute, re-execute, and then we have rewrite execute.
Anyone? Look at both files. The previous LL command I ran and this one I just ran. Nobody? All right, let's do this. Let's change this one. Let's use new file. Are we there? All right. Now let's not put up the class. Okay. The concept behind this is that if you create a file, say maybe this can usually I would not recommend this in a production environment. I recommend this in a lab or development environment where you have the team working on something and you wrote a script. Hey guys, I just wrote a script to be able to do XYZ. Now, instead of you making everyone to be a root user to be able to run that script, you can assign a SUID to that script so that whatever user privilege that person have, they'll be able to execute it. That's the concept behind this. You might not gonna have to use this in production because it's a security issue. But in a lab environment, in a development environment, you can do that. All right. So let's move on. We shouldn't waste too much time on this. Let's go to what? SGID. Let me switch over here. Let's go to SGID. Okay. So when SGID is set on a directory, anything created under that directory will inherit the group to which the directory belongs. What do they mean? Consider a directory belonging to the group Linux, right? Um, okay, let's say to the directory, let's create a new directory because we don't want to keep messing around with our first directory. We can create a new one in here. So guys, let's create a new directory called learning, okay? The command to create a directory is what? MADIR, learning, right? Enter. We have a new directory in here, learning. All right. So we can use that for this illustration. Now let's come back here. If someone cd into that directory and create a file or subdirectory, the created file or subdirectory will automatically belong to the group. Okay, Linux. Now, we did not create a group called Linux. In our case here, what do we have for group? We have one group called what? John. We have another group called Chris. We have another group called root. So we can use those as an example. Now, the letter corresponding to the SGID is X. And the number is what? 2. Don't forget, permission system, this continuation of permission. Execute. To set this up, we run a command, change mode, group plus S, and then a directory. Let's try that. We just created this learning directory, right? Now, we want to make this directory in a way that anybody come in here and create any document or any subdirectory, that directory will automatically stay under the group name instead of it being assigned to another group. Let's take that. CHMOD. Again, don't forget, change mode, you're changing what the mode of the permission. Okay. G, in this case, we're going to use +S, and then the name of the what? Directory, which is learning, right? Enter. Now, if you look at learning, the first one and the second one, there's not much changes you can see on there, right here. Sometimes it's not every change you made on this, you're going to see it, how they call it, display. But if anyone go into this, now, first of all, what is the group for this directory we just created, learning? Let me clear my screen so it can be a little more clearer. Okay. What is the group for learning? Can anybody tell me the group for learning? This particular line right here. What is the name of the group in this line?
Root.
Root. Perfect. Root. So let's change this root because we got root all here, right? Let's change it to something else. The command is what? Change to one, and then we're going to say, let's give it to, so the owner should remain root, right? But we want the group to be, we want the group to be Chris. Let's just keep it as Chris, since Chris is already in here. And then we say learning. Did it change? Yes. The owner remain root, and we change the group to Chris. Okay? Now, there's a difference between the permissions for all these other directories and file, then the one we just created, we having to be learning, and we assign what? SGID to it. There's a difference. Can anybody tell me the difference between, okay, let me create another directory so you can make it easy, okay? I'm going to recall this command, mk right here. Let's say six figures. Because I know everybody will be making it by the time you finish this. LL. Perfect. Okay, I see what's going on here. I see what's going on. So, y'all know what happened? First of all, let me back up a little bit. We created learning. There's a difference in learning in learning permission. The difference here is this S. You see the S, right? The
Yeah.
S is because we assign a Y or SGRD to it. Now, what's the purpose of SGRD? The purpose of that is if anybody come in this directory and create any file or subdirectory, it will automatically belong to that subdirectory. I created a new directory called what? 6 figures. Now, let's CD into learning, because learning is a directory, so we can CD into it. Do we have anything learning? Yeah, answer me now.
No.
No, of course we do.
Oh, learning.
Learning got what? The two user, don't
Chris.
forget, learning had what? The owner and what? Trace to be the group. So what? It's in here. Owner and group. It created a directory for them. The reason it created a directory because when you come in this directory, any file you create is going to belong to this tool. So you need to keep a record of that. Chris, what are you talking about? Okay, create another subdirectory inside of what? Learning. Don't forget now, PWD, where are we? We're going a little further. Now we were in home, my first directory. Now we're in learning. And we're about to create another directory inside of learning. Okay? Recall mkdir. Okay. Me, I love morning business. So let's put million in here. Okay? mkdir million. LL got million. Now, can anybody tell me the miracle that just happened? Now, million automatically belong to who? The user, the owner root, and the group Chris. Are you grabbing the idea? The reason why this happened is because when we created this directory, where is it? What did I write my PWD? Okay, when we created learning directory, we assign a SGID to it, making it that if anybody CD in this directory, when we created learning, we assign the user, the owner to be root, we assign the group to be Chris. So if anybody, because we assign SGID to learning directory, so if anybody CD into what? Learning and create another directory or a file, that directory or file will automatically belong to what? This group. That's what just happened here. Okay, Chris, create one file. Let's see. Touch. File number 5. Enter. LL. Seeing it here again, replicate it. Owner to be root, group to be Chris. All right. So let's move on. We got more to cover. Let's move on. It's almost 10 o'clock. Let's move on. At least you grab the idea of what we're trying to say here. Now, sticky bit. What is sticky bit? When sticky bit is set to a directory, all the user can delete what they created under that directory. But a user cannot delete a document that is owned by another user. It's kind of self-explanatory, right? When we create a sticky bit on a directory, anybody can what? Come in the directory and create their own stuff and delete it. But you cannot delete what another user created. You could use this in a QA environment. You could use it in a production environment to protect, your stuff. Mostly you could use it in a lab environment, a development on environment, where I created a directory and say, guys, let's use a directory, to share files and do whatsoever you create, put it in here. Now, if I wrote a script, but I don't want anybody deleting that script by accident, I set a sticky bit to it. Let's do that. We did it last week, and if you guys can remember, so right now, where are we? See how far we've gone? We are inside of home, my first directory, and learning. So I want to go to my first directory. No, I want to go to home directory because this is where this directory live. Now we added a sticky bit to last week. So what do? You can go back to directory by going like this, cd //. It brings you straight to home. So what did this command just do? You are telling this command, hey, change directory, but move over to directory. There is one directory, there's another directory. We were in home, my first directory, learning. I wanted to go to home. So when I ran this command, escape over learning and escape over my first directory and put me right inside of home. That's what the command just did. Are we following? Are we following? Don't nod your head yes because I can't see you.
Yes,
Answer me yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
sir.
perfect. Perfect. So now if we LL, You see why my first directory is like this? Because why we added sticky bit to it. I will show you how to add sticky bit in a minute. Okay. Now, if anybody comes in this directory, you can write your own thing, delete your own thing, but everything I put in the directory, nobody can delete it besides me. Okay. So first of all, let's change the owner of my first directory from root. Let's change it to Chris, and then we can leave the group as root. Okay, because I want to be the only person that owns this directory. We say LL, we just change it the owner to be Chris and the group to be root. Anybody come in the directory, you can delete anything from it that I created. That's the concept behind it. How do we do that, Chris? Now, for the sake of for learning purposes, let's create another directory in here inside of home. Okay. Um, I want somebody to do this for me now. I tired typing. Can somebody volunteer and share the screen?
I can share my screen.
You hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah, I said go ahead and share your screen. You're going to assign our sticky bit today. You're going to create a directory and assign sticky bit to it.
Okay.
Let me get water to drink. Increase your font size a little bit, Amara. You just, yeah, and then go all the way down. Second to the last. You can do it a few times so it's bigger. Yeah, one more should be good. Perfect. I think that's better. Okay. So I see you already created two different directories in here. Since you already created directories, um, you can just assign sticky bits to one of them. Okay.
Again. Which
So
one?
you can just choose one. The command would be chmod, chmod, space, the letter O plus T, space, the name of the directory. Perfect. Enter. Now you see the difference? That means that directory has sticky bit assigned to it. So what does that do? You can share that directory with anybody can share with you, but they cannot delete anything you put in that directory. They can only delete what they put there, but they cannot delete what you put there. That's the concept, guys. That's just the concept right there. Okay?
Oh, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Let's say you already add a sticky bit to this directory right now and you want to remove it. Like, let's say
Mm-hmm.
you just wanted to you want to remove it, but no one has access to that directory, but you want to remove the sticky bit from the directory. How do you do that?
That's a good question. Let's see if we can remove sticky bits. Okay? Okay, so we don't have it on the slides. Recall the command you ran. Do a minus T and let's see what we get. Minus T instead of plus. Minus. Enter. LL.
Yeah.
Did you see it remove it?
Yes, it did.
That's how you remove it. Okay?
Right.
All right. So guys, all right, Amara, thank you. You can stop sharing now.
Okay.
Let me reshare. Thank you for volunteering. Okay, you can see my screen again, right?
Yes.
Are we there? Okay. So that will actually bring us to the end of this section. All right. You may have difficulties understanding the concept. I advise you to make some research to better understand permission of file directories. If you have questions, always feel free to post in a group or ask during the class. I would be more than glad to answer your questions. So thank you. We're going to take a 15 minutes break and then we'll come back and continue with the rest of the class. All right.
I am.
So, but before we go, do anybody have questions? We're going to take the break at 10 o'clock. So we got a little time for questions. Does anybody have any question?
I think I wrote some questions here.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Teddy. I'm hearing you.
Yeah, the aspect of that sticky bit, I didn't understand. But the
Okay.
S, the RD, I got it, but the sticky bit, didn't.
All right. So I can re-emphasize on that or throw some more emphasis. So sticky beat, right? Like I said, if you create a directory, now let me show my terminal so I can illustrate why I do it, right? So first of all, we have a sticky bit on this directory. So let me remove it first. It's O minus T and then my first directory. Okay. Now I don't have sticky bit on this directory anymore, right? Why do we post sticky bits on directory? The reason why we post sticky bits on directory because maybe you have some sensitive or valuable files on directory inside of this directory. And you don't want anybody deleting that by accident or maybe by malicious reason to delete that file or delete that folder in that directory. So as the owner of this directory, which is my first directory or whatever the name of the directory may be, you assign sticky bit to it so that people will still have access to the directory, but they cannot delete anything from that directory or inside of that directory. That is the sole purpose of sticky bit. You limit or you take away the privilege that anybody can go in that directory and delete anything from in it. They can only write stuff to it, they cannot delete stuff from it. That's what it's for. How do we assign sticky bit? Change mode plus T. Now what's going to happen? Look how the directory look like and how it's going to look like after I start the sticky bit to it. Okay. Let me just LL. See the difference? Now it's highlighted in blue. Before it was just a regular blue directory. Now because of the sticky bit, so it highlighted in all blue like this. Now again, why do we start sticky bit to it? Because I don't want anybody coming in here in that directory to delete any folder in that directory. People can add folders to it, they can add directories to it, but they cannot delete what they did not put in there. Is that clearer now?
Yeah, I the concept.
Okay. Do we have any other question before we go for break? Any question? All right. Nobody have a question. So let's take a 15-minute break. Actually 20 minutes break. We'll be back by 10:15 and then we can continue from there, okay? So I'm going to pause the recording and then we'll come back. We can continue with the recording. Resume. All right, guys. So, um, if you have your computer open, the PowerPoint, I won't be able to share the PowerPoint because my other screen is frozen. So we talked about the VR command last week. The VR command is something we've already been using. Um, VR actually means that's the command we use to be able to edit to gain access to a file and edit the file. They call it VI editor. There's another one they call Nano. Nano is a little bit confusing. It's not too much user friendly as compared to VI. So I would recommend VI. There is VI, and then what is the whole computer is frozen, man? What kind of problem is this? Oh my God. I'm gonna have to pause the recording, guys. Give me 1 second, okay? Sure. Okay. So there's VR editor and there's Vim. Vim and VR, they are the same. The only thing is Vim is what? The older version and Vim. VR is the older version and Vim is a newer version. Okay? So let's put both of them into practice, right? Where are we now? We are in our computer is frozen again. Alright. We are in our home directory, right? So let's go into our directory that we created, my first directory, right? So I'm going to say cd, my first directory. We have all our files we created in here, right? If I want to create a file, don't forget, I taught you guys 2 ways to create a file, right? You can either touch the file. So let's touch file number 6, right? And then if you look here, we have file number 6. File number 6 is right here. There's no content in it, so it's 0. All right. Um, if I want to create file number 7 and go straight into it, I can do 2 things. I can say VR file number 7, and VR will take me straight into the file to edit it, right? And then I can add content in this file by pressing the letter I. If you press the letter I, you will see what? You will see insert right here. That tells you that the system is ready for your input. All right. So we can say we are just learning how to use VR editor, right? Then to save the file, we say escape, you press shift and colon together. WQ means what? Write and quit, write and quit, okay? So if we look here now, we're gonna see file 7. File 7 is right here, and we have content inside of it. So there are 2 ways we create file, right? The first way we did was we touched file number 6, and the system just created it and put it right here. The second way was we just touch, not touch now, with VR into file number 7, add the content to it, and then save the content. The system created file number 7 with content already inside of it. Now, let's use Vim. Let's use Vim to create file number 8. Vim, go straight into it. We go to insert again. Again, insert is right here. Tells you that the system is ready for your input. So we can say this is our if file we created. I've been behind computer since 8:30 this morning, guys. So my hands are even tired typing now. These are our if files we created, learning how to use the Vim editor. To save the file, escape, shift and colon together, WQ, enter. All right. I will need somebody to share the screen so you can create some file for us using the two commands that we just learned. Can somebody volunteer? Besides Amara, I need somebody else to volunteer. Anybody, or I should call name? All right, Conan, are you able to share your screen with us? Conan, are you there? You mute or you unmute?
I'm here, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So use the first of all, the two ways we learn how to create a file. The first one was touch. Can you use tools and create a file?
Yeah. What name you want me to give him?
Any name, brother.
Okay.
Any name.
Let me say touch library.
Okay.
Yep. What
Okay.
next? Another way?
Let's see your library file. So there
Library.
library is. Okay. So use the other method that we use to create file and go straight into it for edit.
Same name, right? Or different name? Okay, maybe stuff name.
It cannot be the same name or
Yeah.
override it.
Touch LOL. Let me just touch LOL. Let me via
Okay.
LOL here. Yeah.
Yep. So add content to that LL file. Hit add for insert grid.
This is mine. Let me see a second. My second. My say farm created in music B. Let me just say B. All right, just something like this.
Yeah.
Then escape.
Okay. All right. So I need to do something. VR into so your script that you wrote, you did not put any permission to that script. So that means you are not able to run it, right?
No.
Okay, add a permission to it.
So
Mode plus X
to move.
plus
Mm,
X.
X.
The name of the script.
What was the script
Just hit
name? Oh,
space, and then IN tab. Just hit IN and tab, it will populate.
IN?
And then tab,
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yep, right there.
enter. Now LL. All right, your script have permission now.
Yeah,
So I need you to VR into that script and edit a line in there for me. So in a real world, this is what you're gonna be doing. Somebody give you the script and they say, oh, there's a line in that script. I want you to remove it or edit it for me. So can you go in that script and do it? So do that now.
So
This
be
is the essence of learning how to use your editor and stuff like that. Enter. Okay. So the line I want you to edit is give me 1 second. Let me see. All right. I want you to comment out the line that has the LSBLK, the block devices. Edit, comment that line, that whole line out.
The one that has what? Number.
LSBLK.
It'll be okay.
Right? No, go up. Go up. Right? No, come down small. The line that says block devices information.
Block devices information here.
Yeah, comment that whole error out.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I got it. He said, then oh, okay.
So you're already into insert. Just use your directional
Yeah.
keys and go to that line, starting from echo.
Right.
Use your directional key. Your mouse is not going to work in there.
And let's say control something.
No, use the directional key on your keyboard, the up and down, left and right.
I
Yeah,
see.
so go up.
Uh,
Okay, now go to the beginning of that line. No, come down one step. Go to where they got echo.
cool. Okay, okay.
So go up one step and then go left. Go to the beginning of that E. One more step. Then you're gonna tap the the hash sign. That's how you comment line out. Hash. Control 3. Or you just left insert. You got a big insert.
I know.
You are already inside of insert.
Yeah, so I got you're right. So
Okay, so now you gotta hit escape. Okay, you're
I'm
already in insert
I'm
now.
inside
Perfect.
again.
So now you gotta hit Control Shift and 3 will give you hash sign. Okay, come down one more and comment that line out from behind the L. Same thing, Shift and 3. Now, so you see how all those lines, everything got blue, right? What you just did here is that you're telling the script when you run, do not run these lines. When they say comment a line out from the script or any kind of how they call it, documentation file, whatever it may be, this is how you do it. So every time you run the script, that particular command that have that echo, block devices, LSB, it's not going to run. It's only going to run the other 3 commands you have in there.
Okay.
You understand it?
Yes.
So I'm giving you this to know how to edit file and to utilize the importance of VI editor and Vim editor. Because basically this is what you're going to use with it on the job. You're going to create files with it, put content in the file. You're going to edit files that are already existing. Somebody will say, okay, hey, Kona, I wrote a script to do XYZ. I don't want it to do XYZ anymore. So go in there, comment the particular line out of that script and run the script for me. This is how you do it. Okay. So now save what you just did here. So tell us what you're doing because now everybody know what you're doing. How
All
did
right.
you save the file?
So I'm trying to save this by pressing escape and column and
Oh, shift and colon together.
shift and column together, and then WQ with this.
What WQ stand for?
So that is you saving the file.
Yeah,
Because
but
you
what's
have
the
made some
letters?
changes, because you have made some changes to the file, you want all those everything you change to be saved.
Yeah, that's the idea. But what does WQ stand for?
Right and quick.
Write and
Write
quit. Yeah.
and quit.
Write
You're
and quit.
telling the
Thank you.
system, I've edited this file, so now I want you to write and then quit this editor. That's what you're telling the system to do. So go ahead,
All right.
enter. So you see there. So if you are to run that script, that command will not be ran. So there's the essence of knowing how to use your VI editor. I can tell you, I think I said this in class before. There's two guys that they hire on my job. One of them been there for 2, 3 years now. When he started Newton, he got a master's degree in computer science. But the guy did not know that when you just there, he didn't know it. They don't teach this stuff in colleges. Okay, they just hired one 3 weeks ago. He don't know VI editor. The whole Linux system is zero. We're the one teaching you along the way. So what you're learning here, guys, this is beyond university and college degree. Don't take this for granted. Okay? So
Okay.
Connor had just created file using two different methods. The first method he used was touch the name of the file. It will just create a file and put it right to where you are. And then the other method he used was Vim. Type Vim and name of the file. It goes straight into that file. And then you are able to add content to that file and save it. That's what we just did. Okay? That's what we just did. Simple as that. So let's move on, Connor. I got more assignments for you. You're the one teaching us today.
Okay, fine.
So guys, when you look at the PowerPoint slides that has to do with VI commands, everything we just did in here is listed on there. I just summarized it into practical sense instead of going through them one by one. Okay? So
Okay.
basically, that's it. That's all you need to know about VI editor. That's
All
all you need to know about VI editor. There are other commands that are in here, but again, you have to review them yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You got to review them yourself. But the basic that you need to know about VI editor to do your job, this is it right here.
All
That's
right.
it. All right? You can clear your screen, Connor. Gonna move on to the next PowerPoint slide. And this one has to do with more Linux commands. Sorry, I can't share the screen with this for this. But Connor is here, he will do the practical for us. We also talked about redirect and append last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember? We talked about redirect and append. We're going to talk about the pipe command as well. So, Connor, you're the one in charge today. So, redirect is the sign for redirect is that little sign that pointing right over your period key on your keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at your command key and your period key, there are two little signs over a one pointing left, one pointing right.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
one that pointing right is a redirect. Two of that one, if you double it twice, it's called append. Now, what do these things do? They say they are used to capture the output of a command in a file. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what do we do here? All right, Conan said, let's start with redirect. Take a look at the following. So Conan, LL in your directory, let me see what the files you got in here. Okay. If file one does not exist, the redirect sign was created before dumping the output. Here we have a list, the current directory with ls or ll. And secondly, we did the same, but this time around, we redirect the output to a file named file one using a redirect sign. All right, let's put that into practice. Because by sometimes I don't know how to read. Okay, let's put that into practice. When listing the content of our current directory again, we realize that a new file has been created. Let's go back one step. So we
Okay.
said ls, and then the redirect sign, and then file one. In the instance, we're not going to use file one. We're going to create another file because you already have file one, right?
Okay.
So do ls space, and then a redirect sign. Oh my man, what you do so?
Sorry,
I'll tell you to list it thing
I
space.
know.
Then shift period, the little shift, and then period. Okay, space. That call is file redirect. Enter. L LL. Now redirect creator, right?
Creator, yeah.
Okay, cap redirect. Let's see what thing is that. Enter. What do we have in there?
We have library class, file 1, 2, 3, inventory, stage, LOL, redirect, 6-figure.
So what that command did was, you remember those are all the files and directories you have in your my first directory, right?
Yes.
You have Liberia there, you got class file 1, 2, 3, inventory, SH, and all that stuff. Those are all the content in that directory. So when you run the command ls and then a redirect sign, and then you get the name of the of the new file, it took all the content of the directory and put it inside that redirect without you typing it in there.
Okay.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. So it's telling you to
It took
redirect all of those files into a specific place.
exactly. That's redirect. That's how it works.
Okay.
Now, how do we put that in a practical sense? You have content in file number one, right? Okay. Get the content in file number one.
Okay. So as you go into file number 1, right?
Cat. I didn't say file
Cat.
number one
Okay.
is you
Okay.
can see the into it. It's
Okay.
not a
Okay. Yeah.
directory.
Yeah.
Enter. Okay.
This is the
This
first
is the
file
first
created
file I created, right?
with Linux.
Okay. So I want you to redirect the content of file number one into another file. Let's see what happens. So you're going to say um file number one,
Yeah.
page redirect, page. Okay, you don't have file number 4. So put that in file number 4.
Okay.
Enter.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let me see. File number 1, not from. Did you mean file 2 from depth file?
The
Oh,
file Kenji.
okay. Hold on, let me see. Let me see some. Okay, actually, I think that was attend we're trying to do, not redirect. But let me look at my note here 1 second. Cat file number 1 and then output. Oh, okay.
You have done redirect. Let me see.
Give me 1 second here. Okay. Okay. So you're going to say LL file number 1. No, LL redirect file number 1.
LL.
No, the redirect style.
Okay. Yep.
And then file number 1. No,
Oh, no,
file number
okay. File
1.
number 1.
You got content in file number 1, right?
Yes, I have content in it that says and a decimal, something like that.
Okay. Now LL. Okay. Now list the content of file number 1. You're gonna cat it.
Yeah, file number 1.
Okay. Let's move on to append. When we do append, we'll combine both of them together. You understand it better. Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on to append. Now, redirect and append, they almost do the same thing. But the only difference is that when you append, the new content is added at the end of the file. That means append keeps the old content while redirect erase it. So do you remember what you had in file number 1 earlier on?
Yeah, it was something that I think this is something I created in Linux, something like that.
Yeah, go scroll up on your screen a little bit. It will we'll see it there because it should be up there. Scroll up. Okay, go
Yeah,
up
yeah,
again.
yeah, it's right
Okay,
here.
that was the content of file number 1, right?
Yeah.
But when we were redirected to file number 1, what happened? It erased the content in file number 1 and dumped the new one in there, right?
Oh, okay.
That's what redirect does. When you
Remove
append it,
and replace it.
yes, when you append it, append will keep the old content and then it will add a new content to the end of it. That's
Okay.
just the difference. So they both move content, but one keep it and one erase.
Append keeps the old one.
Yes. And add a
And,
new one to it.
yeah.
Redirect will only carry the new one and erase everything that was in there before.
Okay.
Okay. So let's try something, okay? Do you have any content in file number 2? Cat file number 2. Let's see what you got inside. We got 25 minutes. Let's see 20 minutes to go. File number 2, cat.
Yes,
Okay.
this is my second file I created in Linux. I'm happy to create such file. Yeah.
Exactly. File number 2. Now, remember, cat file number 1 again. Let's see what we have in file number 1.
Okay. File number 1 here.
File number 1 have all the directories in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So file number 2, let's do append number 2. First of all, let's add something to file number 2 using redirect and see what happens. Okay. So type the command echo echo space quotation mark.
This is what this is a this is a try file. Me just say file created to test. Yes, I mean
Yeah, to test redirect.
okay, to test with
Guys, I hope we're all practicing this thing. I hope that it's not only Kuna alone doing this. Okay, space, space Kuna, and then put your redirect sign. Space. Now let's send it to file number 3.
Okay.
Enter. Okay. Clear your screen a little bit. Now LL. No LL yet. Let's see what you got there. Okay. Now let's see what you have in file number 3 now. Was it file number 3 you sent it to, right?
Yeah, sorry, file number 3.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a try file. Yep.
So everything that was in file number 3, you erase it and you put this one in it.
And replace it with a new
Okay.
one.
So now let's do the append. Recall, okay, not general recall. Just say echo, same way,
Hmm.
space,
Yeah.
quotation mark, and then pull anything you want to pull in there.
Okay.
This is a file created to test append. You can just do that.
Hmm.
APP. Is that
Yep.
APP? Yeah, APP.
END.
Yep. And then you close the quotation mark. Now this time around, the redirect, you're gonna put it there 2 times. That's append.
So why 2 times? 2 times.
Because it's append.
Okay, so append is
Redirect is,
two of
yeah, redirect
redirect.
is 1, append is 2.
2. Okay.
So we're gonna append file number, which file should we append? That append on your
Hmm.
redirect file you created.
So that's number, I don't know, 3, right?
Redirect, there's a file you call redirect,
Oh
you put
yeah,
content
you're
in
right.
it.
You're right. Right there.
Enter. Okay.
Yeah,
Now go look in your redirect file and see what you see inside. You can just cat redirect,
yeah, redirect.
enter.
Okay.
So you see the old content of redirect was there and added a new content in the bottom of the file to the end of the file.
Hmm.
So seeing the difference now?
Yes.
Okay. So that's just a simple difference. Redirect, it will add new content to the file, but it's going to erase the old content.
Yeah.
Append will add new content, but keep the old content. All right.
Okay.
So let's move on. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
So we know about touch, we know about cat command, we know about rm command. Okay, let's do the rm command a little bit. The rm command, what it does is that it removes a file or a directory. So Kona, do me a favor, clear your screen a little bit. Clear your screen. Okay, LL. Okay, I want you to create a directory for me. A directory called remove. Enter. LL. Perfect. Got a directory called, clear your screen and then LL again. Just so everybody can see where you. Okay. Now, I want you to delete the file called LOL. And the command to delete that file will be rm, the name of the file. So the
Okay.
rm is for remove.
Hmm.
Remove LOL. Enter. LL. Do you see LOL again?
It's gone.
It's gone. And don't think you can get it back. Anyway, delete it, it's gone. You can't get it back. It
You
go
want
to a direct, it go to a direct called def null, and that is a bottomless page. You can't get anything from there.
so it doesn't have recycle bin in this place?
No, it doesn't. Okay. All right. So I want you to just clear your screen one more time at LL. So we have a clean slate. LL again. I want you to remove that directory you created called remove. Run the same command. No, no, no. It's RM. I said
RM.
remove. I didn't say move.
And yeah. RM.
Enter.
Remove. This can
Now, what
like
did it say?
they say RM is a directory.
Cannot remove.
Cannot
Remove is a directory.
remove. Yes, a directory.
So the same command you use to remove a file, you do not use the same command to remove a directory.
All right.
Now recall that command. Just type the up arrow key. Go back to the RM. Use a directional key. Space. Then dash RF. And then enter. That is the command you use to remove a directory.
Okay.
RN space dash RF, name of the directory, will remove it. This same command will remove a file, but you don't need it to remove a file. Okay, so we see the difference. The command to remove a file is rm, the name of the file. The command to remove a directory is rm space dash rf, name of the directory.
So what's the RF actually saying there to the directory? So because
Remove
the
file.
RF it may remove, then what's about the F?
Remove file.
Okay. All right, I got it.
It's a file, but with the dash handle behind it, give it that extra, should I say permission or extra ability to remove a directory.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else we did? CP command. CP command is to what? To
Copy.
copy. Why do we copy? We copy files because you want to make a backup. So if I tell you, Conan, I want you to edit the inventory.sh for me, remove a line from in it. It's always a best practice, guys. Any file you're going to edit, especially if that file is in production, you have to make a backup of that file. It's a good practice. It can save you a lot of things. Save you a lot. So to make a backup of a file, the command is what? CP. CP means copy. So run CP. I want you to make a backup of the inventory.sh script. Then hit your tab key, you populate, and then, okay. So now you are telling the system, hey, I want you to copy this script file and put it in another script and put it in another file. Now, you can you can use the same name of the original file. So just put inventory.sh.
So I can still call it.
Go back one step and put underscore, underscore backup. That's one way you can do it. You can name it any name, but it's always better to use the same name and put backup to the end.
So that can
So that
be easy to track.
Exactly. So you know that, okay, this script I have here, this is the backup for it.
Backup, yeah, okay.
So enter LL, and that's your backup script right there. So now, when you go into the original script, you edit any line in it, and you break anything in it, guess what? You have a backup
You got
copy.
to go back to.
You can also roll back to it. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to vim into inventory.sh. I just want to show you something. Enter. Okay. So for any reason you came in here and you editing this file and you made a mistake, right? You made a mistake and you don't want to save this file. How do you do that?
You escape. Control, no, shift, column, and then just I think the queue and just quit.
Okay. So let's try something.
All right.
You see where your cursor is? Go into your insert mode. Go into insert mode. Okay.
There.
Move that cursor one step. Use your forward arrow key.
One step back or one step?
One step forward.
All right.
Okay. Erase that hash sign. Okay. So let's say there's a mistake you made and you don't want to save this mistake. So do what you just told me. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. See, skip. You choose this. All right. So let me see.
Okay. Enter.
Oh, it didn't work.
Oh.
Right. You're right.
You know why it didn't work? Read the error. What does the error say?
No right since last change. Add okay. I need to add this to override. All right.
Exactly. Every time you try to edit a file, you made a mistake, you don't want to save that file. If you do that, escape, shift, colon, Q, you need to add an exclamation mark so you can override it.
You're right.
So do that again. Escape,
Okay.
shift, colon, Q,
Skip.
exclamation.
So I got it. Okay.
Just hit escape, this thing will disappear.
Right, and I disappear. Yeah. I press
Okay, hit the shift and colon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Q, and the exclamation, enter.
Now I go now.
Go
Okay.
back in that file and see if anything changed in it.
In a V, okay.
Just record it and go in it. Did anything change? Huh? Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Nothing changed. All right, you can close out of here.
Okay.
But because you didn't change anything, now when you use the Q alone, it will go. Just Q. Enter.
Okay, I see. So it was because we deleted something back there, we did something, so we had to
Yes.
use them. Okay. So here nothing
Yes.
was changed, so we can just
Yeah. You
oh
just quit.
okay.
All right.
It's very good to play with like that. You get to know it very good.
Exactly. So these are the little tips and things that you need to know about this stuff. These are stuff, guys. What I'm teaching you, these are stuff I do on the job every day. I can teach you a whole class that I've been looking at this PowerPoint stuff. But just because we want to stay in line with what we're doing, so we'll go with the PowerPoint. But these are stuff I do every day at work. Okay? So you can clear your screen. Let's move on. We got about, say, 10, 15 minutes more. All right? VR command, we already did VR. I told you guys about nano. Try nano, let's see. So LL, let's see what file you can nano into if you have nano on your system. Say nano, N-A-N-O, space, go to file number 2, enter. This is another editor right here. Okay? It's another editor. But I guarantee you, I know about this. I only used it a couple of times. I did not like it, so I stuck with VI. VI is very user-friendly, it's straightforward. This one, you have to be reading this stuff down here to see what you want to do. So, based on the information down here, how do you exit out of the file?
Yeah, but X. Like that and X. That all right, what is that called? So based on the information down here, I'm looking for that sign right now. Okay, I've seen it. And X. Is that cap? Let me see whether that's important. No. So yeah. So
I
right.
think it's Control X.
Yeah. So Control X.
And then if you want to save that stuff that is up there, they're asking yes or no. I usually
Yes, and
do is so you just press N and then exit.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So that's Nano for you.
I
So
usually use Nano too.
okay, you gotta decide which one you want to use. For me, I use my VI. I'm used to it. I don't like Nano.
I think
Okay.
VI is for, I think we kind of used to VI now.
Yeah. Well, some people, most of the developers I know they use Nano. I don't like it. I use my VI. So those are the two you really need to know. And then one other one they call Emacs. I've never used it before. I don't even know how it works. But the most popular ones are VR, Vim, and Nano. Okay.
So at the
So the
work,
ones you
does the work uh has control over which editor you use, or you just have to know both because you don't know which one they want to allow you to use?
no company can tell you what editor you use. No company will tell you what like there are some system. Hold on, let me put my AC on. There's some legacy system that will not allow you to use Vim, but at least it will allow you to use VR. And it's not because of the company regulation, it's just because the system is old. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard of a company that will tell you, oh, you have to use Nano to edit our file. No. You can use any editor to edit the file. Okay? So let's move on. We talk about escape, :WQ. We talk about the cat command. Um, yeah, these are all stuff that the command that you just ran without the Q and the exclamation mark. This is it right here on the slide. These are stuff we already covered, guys. All right, we shouldn't spend much time on it. There's a lot more on the PowerPoint, so please take some time and go through the PowerPoint. It gives you a little more juicy, a little more sauce to what we just did. But what we did here is all you need to know for the job. Okay, so download and install. Now we have two package manager, right? If you guys remember from the old class. Who can tell me what is a package manager for Ubuntu? When I say package manager, I mean what kind of command or what do you use to install on applications in your Ubuntu server?
APT
Hmm?
is a package manager for Ubuntu.
Yes.
Okay.
What is a package manager for Ubuntu?
It's
It's
APT APT update.
APT. It's just no, it's just APT.
APT, okay.
Yeah, APT, you can add any other commands behind it. APT update, APT upgrade, APT install, all that kind of stuff. But the main package manager for Ubuntu is what? APT.
APT.
So with that being said, upgrade your Ubuntu system.
Okay.
I don't upgrade, I say update.
Yeah.
Run an update command. Put -y at the
Oh,
end.
okay.
Or anyway, that's okay. You let it run.
I think the reason for that why because you don't want to asking you a question later on.
Exactly.
You just want to
Exactly.
get or
So your system is up to date, so it didn't even run for a long time. But usually, guys, when you're running an update on your system, you see how easy it is to update a Linux system, right? If you were to update your Windows computer, probably have to run overnight.
what?
I say if you had to update your Windows computer, you
Mm-hmm.
probably have to run overnight, depending on what package it needs to install and how long it's been before you upgraded it or updated it. Same
Wow.
thing can happen to the Ubuntu servers, Red Hat, all of those. Depends how long it been since you upgraded it or updated it. It can run for a very long time. Okay,
All right.
so that's a package manager for Ubuntu. Anything you want to install, you gotta run an apt, and then before you install anything. For Red Hat, who can tell me the package manager for Red Hat?
Young.
Yum, yum. So install a package for me called Finger on your Ubuntu system.
Install a package called what?
Finger, Finger. No, no, no. You
Oh,
in Ubuntu. Why you running yum
oh.
command?
Sorry. Okay. So I gotta go. Okay, Ubuntu. My head shaking a little bit.
Install me a package called Finger. While you figure that out, I'll be right back. Let me use the bathroom.
Okay.
So I
I need the root. How do you? This is it. Mm, So let's see the Ubuntu. Let me see. What the hell to go on here?
You figure it out?
Trying to figure out here.
Huh?
Not yet. I'm trying to first okay. I'm gonna
Okay,
open it.
Conan, what do you do?
I
You
open it.
got Google. Go to
Open
Google and
yeah.
try
I
and
did that. So
search.
okay. I'm trying to do like I want to open a terminal, so go to um a terminal and sudo update.
yeah,
What
I
do you
would
mean
say
go to
that
terminal and sudo
No,
update? I said
wait.
installing a package called Finger on your Ubuntu server.
What is it? Okay.
What is the package manager for Ubuntu? We just did that.
What I gotta leave here from there? Ah, APT update.
No,
so there was
Update.
you're not updating. I
there was
said install me a package called Finger.
Sorry.
APT install finger.
Oh
Try
yeah.
APT install finger.
Conan, don't do that thing to me, man.
I'm
Enter.
telling you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making you shame. Yeah,
Enter now. We got 3 minutes for the class to be over.
I tell you, I was kind of confused a little bit. I thought I wanted,
So you see, that's all I'm asking you to do. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you guys, everybody got an assignment. Go and research that package Finger. What does it do? Okay. So with that, I will pause here, and then we have 3 minutes for questions. We'll get back next week. We will continue from where we stop.
So the package thing I'll
So
do.
go and research what Finger does. Tomorrow I will ask you the questions. And then also please install the PuTTY. Install PuTTY on your system. The how they call it, the package was sent in the chat.
Right now.
Okay.
No, I try to access that. It's like I don't know how you call this.
It's
Let
a
me.
while.
I'll check it out just now.
Mm.
Mm,
That's
okay.
sure.
I can't see
Yeah, when they ask you, teacher ask you, then you get confused and you be like, wait, what is going on? I go, I be like, wait.
Are you sending the Sarah, Chris? Are you sending the link for the PuTTY in the chat? I'm checking the chat, not seeing.
It's there, but it's
Link.
open as Google Drive.
Oh, okay. So let me say the raw one. You have to access the drive, but you guys should be able to access the drive though.
Yeah, we have
Huh? You're not
the
able to
drive.
access the drive? All
We
right,
have,
let
I
let's
think
do
we
that
have.
together. Let's do that together. My computer actually unfroze now. So let me share my screen. You see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's go to my school tab here. You guys should be able to. All right, let me do it with the one we have in the chat. Let me grab the one in the chat. So Brian, if you go all the way up, keep going up, or from the beginning of the class, one of the admin posted it in there. Let me find it. Okay, right here. So you click on the Google Drive, and then it's here. All the packages are in here. All right, so what do we need? We're looking for PuTTY. You can just come right here to the search tab and put in PuTTY. PuTTY. I don't see that here.
I think I have PuTTY.
VX.
I do have PuTTY from the last class.
Yeah, it should be somewhere in here. Let me see. Um, okay, I don't see the active file for PuTTY in here. Whoever posted this, admin, you might want to check again. I don't know if it was AD or
It was
David.
the issue.
But let's do this. We can just grab it from online, right? Go to Google, type in PuTTY,
Did you
PuTTY download for Windows.
right there?
Be careful of which one you're picking. I think is this one. Yes, this one right here. All right. So you click on download.
You want to put a link in the group chat in the chat so that others will not have to.
Yeah. So we're gonna use 60. We're gonna use this one right here. We can also use a tab. No, that one is more like for.
Yeah.
Okay, let's use this one. When you click on this, you might see this message. What it say on verified download block. Click on this arrow. You click on download on verified file. Um, After it's downloaded, you click on the little file icon, and you're gonna see it in here. For me, I don't need it, so because I already have PuTTY, let me see if I can send it to the chat, or I might have to send the link.
In your WhatsApp.
Can somebody try to click on what I
I
just sent and see
think
if
the
it can
link
open
will
for
be
them?
okay.
Try to click on that file, see if it downloads. You can just download it, see if you get it. Can someone do that? Roll your mouse over it, you see the little download
Yeah,
icon here, click that.
they can download.
Are you able to download it?
Yeah, it will say download, but
It's
we need to save the file first and all of that.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta save it.
I already have it, but
Lincoln, you will be the best to do it because Kona already have it. So click on download and see if you got it.
I'm doing it right now. I'm trying to do it.
Okay. Better still,
I've seen so many bodies before.
Perry, if you're following the instruction I was doing, you're not gonna be seeing too many party and get confused. Two ways. You can download the link I sent in the file that I sent in the group chat, or you can use the URL here and download it on your computer yourself. Use the first one that says 64-bit by 86. Use that one. To make life easy for you, I just downloaded it and sent the file to the group chat. So just download that file. All right. The class has to end from here. If you have any question, just post it in the chat. When I see it or one of the admins see it, we'll get back to you on that. But I have to end the class here now. Recording is gonna stop.
Yeah, I gotta go to work.